Hi everyone, I'm Tina. This is To the Inner Wild. Welcome back, and welcome to any newbies out there. This is completely impromptu. I just felt, I don't know, it felt right. And it is April 26, 2021. It is the super moon, full moon, pink moon, however you want to call it, full moon in Scorpio. As a little part of new tradition, I found this little teacup at a thrift shop, and I guess teacups are my thing now. And it did not come with a saucer, but it's one of those vintage England cups, but it's lined with this gold metallic, I don't know, foliage. But I thought it was perfect to consider the most obvious abundant suits, which is pentacle and cup energy, grounded into one. Very cool. Yeah. And then the spirit of it is what we put inside. If you caught my 1:13 on the clock, if you caught my post of the crystals to use tonight, well, I thought it would be perfect to drop the crystals inside. I'm not going to show you those because those are more for me. Some things must be kept private. Today, I was in the middle of cleaning today. This is part of my altar here. So I'm going to do a bit of a candle wax read. I haven't done one of those before, but this is accumulated wax between the last supermoon, depending on how you interpret the supermoons. To some terms, there was a supermoon that coincided with the worm moon, the signifier for spring, aerating the ground for the abundance of fertility to follow. So, before I clean up this wax, I saw somewhere that you can interpret the overflow. This is my first time reading the candle drip wax. Let me prefix this. I surround these with stones that I've found, as well as chunks of celestite. For the ones that I've found, 1 stone per direction, and then 3 stones for the triad, which would be the celestite, to draw in celestial angelic energy. Then at the center point, I have my candle holder. I was actually looking for a pentagram star, but this is what I ran into. It's been sitting in inventory for years and years. It found its purpose here. And this is 8-pointed, so really nice because it signifies the calendar, the sabbats. Yes? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you know, it doesn't really mean anything other than I don't know how to pronounce it yet. So let's not get technical on that, because really, when you practice, you should not let anything stop you, because the intent, the will, is the heart of your rituals. And I practice, you know, days before and during and after in order to get the maximum, as well as being cognizant of all the energies that I run into. Opponent energy tends to utilize the same energies in order to combat, and regardless of how I feel about it, I know that I must use my energy in transmuting. If I'm cognizant of that energy, I'm not going to let that dissuade myself from that notification spell. So let's get down on this. 5:59 on the clock. I will post some pictures later so that we can gather insights together. Okay. Spirit, what do we want to tell the collective based on this energy presented? I see a pistol right there. Okay. It has some sort of flames firing from its, at the barrel. The nozzle portion of it is lit. It's on fire. This is like go energy. This is not just a single fire. This is rapid fire in our delivery. And at the same time, on the handle part of it, it looks like it's draining. It's leaking out. Rapid fire in our delivery. And at the same time, on the handle part of it, it looks like it's draining. It's leaking out. What does that mean? Let's see here. That whatever fuels us. Because it's leaking from the top too. As we fire, this energy that we're receiving is divinely inspired. So whatever we are receiving as we fire, we're also grounding it. It's a tank that's ever flowing. So whatever can be held within that is not confined to its space. Yes. Very cool. Bubbling too. I haven't seen that. That's interesting. So it's a boiling point. It's hot to the handle, hot to the touch. Yeah. And there's something else here. When negatively aspected, you're hot-tempered and quick to fire. When positively aspected, you are able to channel these energies into constructive ways, and your delivery never falls short. You're quick at manifesting so much it may force you to let go for a bit so you can cool down. So the trigger to that is closest to us. What I meant to say was that when you cock the gun or physically ignite it, it's what precedes the trigger. It's a bluff if you just hold it, but it's always your choice. Yeah, it's our choice to release or not. To materialize action, even if preparatory. It's always going to be our choice on that. Which starts with the frame of mind. But the channel is always there. This includes our line of sight or aim towards what we choose to target or focus on. Are we, as a handler, responsible with our resources, or are we trigger happy and negligent with its power? It could simply mean we need more background experience to understand its power. For instance, the angels told me that I was wrong about calling people out on a couple of my recent videos, that focusing on their actions was sufficient, but to add all else wasn't the best choice. And the best one thus far is to take accountability. I see the number 4 in Roman numerals right there. Roman numeral. This is about ownership and taking flight, because I also see the bird spirit here, the head. You see the beak right there. It's taking ownership because there's a tie into that ownership of taking flight in your line of sight, your vision, to be very focused and driven on whatever it is that you're doing, that you're aspiring to. Yeah, because it looks more like an eagle. Now look at some amazing things that I found regarding it. It's just a couple of excerpts out of the whole, but maybe you can do some research on your own and screenshot here if you're interested. And what else? For integrity's sake, I'm keeping the videos because we all make mistakes without realizing them until after the fact. For instance, I kept beating myself up as soon as I got word from the divine following my last video. They said that this would be enough, adhering to the lesson, finding closure with forgiveness and apologies, and to finally move forward, focusing on the highest path. Remembering we are all prone to human error, especially when not fully grounded. And not to lose your sense of humor, that it is a part of grounding. Right here, where a rock was, one of the stones that I told you about, it formed around it, so broke a piece off of there. It looks like feet, the bottom half. You see that? It's like someone in baggy pants and then the feet driven in like that. So I'm seeing it as a sense of bashfulness in it, but it's cartoony. Like a cartoon version of a tagger. You might be fond of graffiti and mural artistry like Banksy or Shepard Fairey. I'm seeing it more like being relaxed, like having a sense of humor. And since I only see a bottom half depicted here, then I figure it's more for grounding. I also see a duck, also a sense of humor. It ties into one of my other readings too, one of my old ones, using the Stargate sky spread. We saw the duck there. Now this is the head, also by the feet. It's another reiteration, reaffirming that your sense of humor is part of what grounds you. And being that it formed around a rock that I removed, obviously, the rock was also easy to extract. So that says a lot there. Things become easier when you maintain a sense of humor. And this is not like callousness, this is, how do I say it? Like, it's not mean humor. This is not a humor that keeps you aloof. This humor is what keeps you connected in understanding how the world works and that everything has a place. That it's easy to maneuver and remove what needs to be removed when you ground yourself. So it makes like the tedious and most cumbersome parts of life easier to maneuver through. Okay.
It still takes careful contemplation and time to discern what's appropriate, what's ethical, and the bridge between the two. So take the time you need in order to tap into your own intuition.
I also see, it looks like a gas tank fueling. So what are we fueling here, Spirit? We're feeling out solidarity. I see this thing right here. It looks like a hand that's like that. I feel like that's what we're needing to fuel. That when we take flight, part of our vision is this, also what carries us. It's almost like the wind beneath our wings, this feeling of standing together like a united front. There's ownership within all of this whole picture. This is one block, one scene, as you can see right here. Okay. Next, when we turn the plate.
So every time we are done with a phase in our lives, it warrants contemplation. The Four of Swords reflective in closure energy to reassess before the next action item taken.
We need the ability to also speak our minds. Not just hold that vision, but part of it is speaking it into existence. It looks like a thought bubble here, as you can see. It was holding this rice grain. And so, because it's the only grain of rice here, that it's a signifier to that linked reading. Sustenance to sustainability. Something about the rice pentacle. I forget, like, off the top of my head, but that is significant there. And I think this is where I broke off this little piece of wax right just now. There's like two little nodules right there. This little peace sign, yeah, held up. So I feel like this is more like a scepter because it has the expanded tip and it's a miniature little peace sign. So I feel like it's almost like we hold power. Our display of power is finding peace within whatever we touch. It flowed from the top, so the cup runneth over. And that was important because with how you saw it was handling everything, that was the only piece that broke off. I see the letter J here.
It could be a significant initial to a name, or that you might indulge in smoking out. It also marks a different route to an infinity cycle symbol. Within this route, in cursive, you emerge by convergence. As you meet in the middle, you complete the cycle together, similar to mirroring that of the twin flame or a kin flame journey. The reading below might give further insight.
I see someone laying face down. But it's like almost like they're getting a massage. Yeah, I really feel like that. Maybe we need to relax, find time to relax within these manifestations.
Given the sirens, it may also speak of the consequence to not taking breaks. When in aggressive pursuits, we lose a reason that grounds us, losing our purpose and fulfillment. The aloofness inevitably brings destruction.
Anything else? What time is it? 19:02 on the clock. I see a penguin, but no feet. There's no waddling. But the penguin...
The sirens continue.
I don't know, looks a little sad. No, I think that there's like sadness that this penguin has experienced. But they're currently not sad. And not bothered that they don't have feet. So penguins are black and white. They're known to wear tuxedo suits, so there's a sense of formality in them. And with formality, there's this expectation to move around, to be a mover and a shaker, and so many obligations. So that's probably why this penguin is happy to be, like, content not to have the feet. They found their place Yeah, do you see that their wings are built from rose petals? It's melded into there. So that's cool. To watch your mouth too. In that, it looks like there's like almost like a rhinoceros horn coming out of its beak, but at first it reminded me of a shark facing. Do you see that? Right there? Facing his head or her head. And that tells me that there's a signifier that your mouth, your words, even if they are internally spoken, your internal dialogue can get you into some trouble. And it's just a caution, is all. To be cognizant, to be aware, because as you've experienced sadness and are currently in a good place, you know, for the time being anyway, that it can get you in trouble. This is your resting point here.
As a reminder to self also to use those pit stops wisely for the suggested contemplation in the Four of Swords energy.
Yeah, again, when speaking, even when you're like joking around, you need to be very cognizant of what seeds you plant. Because again, when I look at the plate, like the serving dish, and we have that rice pentacle here coming from this larger mouth. Yes. So this J I also see is like a hook. So again, it's tied with this pistol. As you fire, it bleeds out from the bottom as well because it's full of abundance. When you're exercising your power, that there's a sense of responsibility in it, as well as this major form of abundance. So not only do you benefit from it, but also it's like a hook, line, and sinker to those that come in contact with it, that they also become inspired and become more driven as well. Yeah, because that's the only part of the candle that is vacant and empty. So it leaves room for more abundance to flow. Yes, that there's, once you hook others, that there's also room for them, a seat at the table. Yeah, because everything else is surrounded. Yeah, even the person that's relaxing, head down, you can't see any feet. It's the same idea as the penguin, which is right next to it too. So it's another confirmation of the same thing. This is a resting point to relax and regather and ground yourself in this energy. That's the energy that's presented. Is there anything else, Spirit? 24:41 on the clock. I think that's it. Let me just double check here. And to keep your intuition open, because this candle is situated on the left eye of this plate, almost like a telescope, a telescopic vision. Yeah, and it's fully covered. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, that is all for today. Thanks very much for joining me. Please hit the like button and subscribe button. It would help me out, as well as the notifications bell. They told me the notifications bell would be super duper helpful. And anyway, thank you very much for this energy exchange. It is not just a mutual energy exchange, but an equal energy exchange. Whatever you got out of this is basically what you've given to me, and no more and no less. That's really how it works. That's my intention, and thank you very much. I hope you got something out of this. Hopefully I'll see you again the next time. Bye for now.